Hello and welcome to lesson 2 of the grade 3 Theory Frenzy tutor book. This is quite a detailed lesson, quite a few teaching aims to remember. So for this lesson you're learning about the demi-semiquaver note and rest, you're learning about simple and compound time signatures, you're learning about the triplet, the duplet, and grouping rests in a compound time signature. So the lesson introduces you first to the demi-semiquaver note, and it's worth 1/8 of a count, and you'll notice that in this lesson you'll see that this note has actually got 3 little lines on. Remember, the semiquaver has got 2 lines on and the quaver has got 1 line on. So your first task is actually to practice writing some of the demi-semiquavers. Then it introduces you to the demi-semiquaver rest, which again has got 3 lines on, and you practice writing some of those. Then the book goes on to explain how demi-semiquavers can be grouped together. So you can group together them in pairs so that they equal a semiquaver count, or you can group them together into 4s to equal a quaver count, or you can group them together into an 8 to make up a crotchet count. Then we move on to a piece of music, and it's a piece of music called The Cherub's Touch, which has quite a few indications in and actually has the demi-semiquavers in. And it says, look at this piece of music and answer the questions below. So the first question is, what key is the piece in? Then the next question is, what key does the piece modulate to at bar 13? Because it changes to a new key signature. Then the third question is, what does the word largo mean? Now these are words that you've learnt in your previous examinations, so you should be fine with those. The same applies with question 4, which explains about the metronome mark. Then what does the word dolce mean? Again, this is one you've learnt for previous exams. Which bar contains an accidental? Which bar is written in demi-semiquavers? And which bar has a repeat mark? So you write all your answers in the book here. Then the lesson moves on to talking about the difference between simple and compound time signatures. So we've already explained in previous grades a little bit that a 2/4 time is a simple time signature because you've got 2 crotchets in a bar, and the crotchet and the quavers are grouped as crotchets in 2s. Okay. Now when you've got your compound time signature, and the one that links to that is the compound duple time signature, which is a 6/8, that equals 2 dotted crotchets. So you can see instantly that the compound time signatures are all dotted, and the quavers are grouped in 3s to outline the dotted crotchet note. And that's the main difference you see between a simple time and a compound time. Now what if you want to put a 3 quaver count in a simple time signature? What you do, you make what's called a triplet. So the triplet is 3 notes that squeezes into the time of 2. So a triplet actually equals 1 crotchet. So it shows you various ways that the triplet can actually be written. Sometimes it can equal a semi-breve, sometimes it can equal a minim, and sometimes it can equal a crotchet. So if, for example, you want to do one of these, a 2 count quaver, in a compound time signature, you write what's called a duplet. So duplet means 2 notes goes into the time of 3. So you see how the two just sort of swap over, don't they? And so a duplet actually equals a dotted crochet. So there you've got 2 exercises where you're asked to work out these notes. So the first one says, complete the following 5-bar rhythm, group the notes correctly for the time signature, include a triplet, use only the written pitch. And then here it says, complete the following 6-bar rhythm, group the notes correctly for the time signature, include a duplet, and only use the written pitch. Then we go on to talking about rests that are in the compound time signature. So as a rule of thumb, you've got to look carefully at your rests and make sure you keep the idea of the simple time signature and the compound time signature in your head. So when you've got something that's in a 6/8 time, the rests still have to show the dotted crochet. And if you've got a simple time signature, the rests still need to show the crochet bead. So if you look at this example here, you'll see that you've got a 6/8 time, but the rests are wrong because it's showing rests that will be grouped into a 3/4 time. So they're asking you to correct the rests so that it be suitable for a 6/8 time signature, and you put your answer there. Then the lesson finishes by showing you a very detailed and a very useful chart which shows all the notes that you've already learnt and all the rest that go with it here. So I would use this as a little bit of revision near the time and use it for future grades as well. It's a very, very useful table. And that completes lesson 2.